Welcome back to the studio. As far as I can tell, we have a moment of no construction. So I thought we'd do a little painting of some lily pads, which are quite highly requested. So we're going to use multiple colors. I think we'll do the lily pads in this green, or this green, or this green, or a combo. This is my Japanese watercolor palette. And then we're gonna do little flowers too in this pink with yellow little centers. And this is my Charvin travel palette, where you can put water in here and take it to go. So cute. And then we of course have our water cup, our paper towel, and I'm using the Princeton Round No. 2 brush. So when we did those crescent moons, they kind of, as we zentangled the outside, turned into lily pad shapes. And I think that's what sparked a lot of the idea. So, oopsie. Let's start with this nice green, and we're gonna just do almost a whole circle. Twist my wrist around. And then the lily bit like this. Now, to be honest, I don't love how that twist went around, so the next time I want to do it in 2 different strokes, because I didn't have so much control when I was all the way around, but it's okay, we're going to clean it up. I also like to treat the first one like the first pancake, so there's no pressure that this didn't look perfect. But that said, I am gonna clean it up as much as I can. So it was brought to my attention that my videos had a bajillion ads on them. Thank you so much to whoever told me that, because I went and had a look and it was true, there were so many. I just used YouTube's default settings when it came to ads. I didn't manually do it at all, and I guess the default setting is to have them every like 5 minutes, so we've changed that, so there should just be a couple now. That was crazy. I really dislike ads, so here we're just gonna go halfway, and then we're gonna come from the bottom and connect it. I really hate ads, so if you don't have YouTube Premium and you have to watch them, hopefully there are way less now. If there are still a lot, or I forgot on a video or something, please let me know, because I am more than happy to turn that off. Ew. Does the little thing go all the way into the center like that? Not necessarily. Okay, let's do one here. So with each one, we can just get a little bit better. So we'll go part of the way in, kind of like a little Pac-Man. The birds outside are agreeing, right? We're gonna crisp up this right here. And then we can take this all the way around and connect. And then maybe we do one down here as well. Maybe a big one, because they all grow at different times. This is in my way. Would they all have this at the same point though, the little crevice? I don't think so. So let's put this one here. And then take all the way around. Nice. Now I want this to be kind of randomly placed like a pond. Should we do multiple colored ones? I'm kind of thinking no, actually, but I would love to have them near each other. You know what? I'm really talking to myself today, aren't I? Let's do the flowers. And then we can see what's left and see what would look best. That's pretty, woo. Okay, so for the lily pad flowers, I know they would typically be on the lily pads, but that's not how we're gonna do it. So I'm just kind of gonna make it up. I know they have lots of nice little petals. So we're just going to draw as many of those as we feel like until we come round to the starting point. So how I get that to look symmetrical is I just kind of pretend when I come down with each of these points that I'm coming into an invisible circle. Although now that I look at it, I think there's also ones in between like this. Yeah, I think that looks better. I really like this pink. I have had it for a while and I hadn't used it yet, but we used it on the, where did we just use it? I think the rainbow one. Hi, if you were on the rainbow one, that was live. Okay, very cute, very cute. Now let's do another up here. So, are we in frame? Yeah. So we're gonna start with the first petal. And then let's pretend our circle is like this. So just coming round to the points where it would naturally meet. Ish. No one's taking out a ruler and measuring this. That would be weird. This picture makes me really want to go to the park. I'm gonna be in London soon. Actually, I might be there right now. And I'm for sure gonna go have some little picnics in the park and stuff. Okay. Then we're going to add in our background layer of petals. Just like little triangles effectively. But I'm giving them a little bit of a it's not a strict line triangle, straight line triangle. It has a little bit of a curve, the line, just to suggest petal. This space is begging for one, so I guess let's go do that. We can make this a little bigger. I kind of want them to have more petals than these ones, so, well, this I don't think I measured out properly in my head, so that might not happen, but it's okay. So here I want to just re-crisp the edges. I think I need to get another new Princeton number 2 again soon, because this is my not most used one and it's getting a used feeling, which I do like sometimes, but not if I want these little points. Okay, because this is on a pond, I think it's going to be super fun to really just like let go of the perfectionism with, because it's all kind of ripply anyway. Yes, we will do the pond in blue, don't worry. So what I mean by that is, like, in some we try and get an exact line, like this one that we did most recently, or maybe not most recently, but whatever. I was really trying to get straight lines, and here I really am going to want to pay attention to every little bit. So like, what's a good example? This tiny little bit that's come out of the top of the petal will even go around that, I think. Let's do one here. This can be a big-ish one. So if you want more, oh, are we in frame here? Yeah. If you want more petals, you're gonna wanna do them closer to the previous one so we can fit many in. Oh my gosh, you know what I just had a huge flashback to is spiralgram. Is that what it was called? Those, you'd get these like cool stencils and make spirals out of them in the early 2000s. Oh, I hope someone remembers what they're called because I do not, but I loved those. It's about as mathy as I'll get. Okay, how sweet. And then we'll go do our little background petals. I'm definitely wanting to do a under the sea one where the background is blue and then the fish are all different colors. And the coral is coral color. I love coral. This is pinky coral, but corally elements. And that'll be fun. But this is our first kind of multicolored scene. So let's see how it goes. Okay, now looking at the whole composition, I feel like we have space let's pull this, right here, here, and here. And we can play with that. Let's swap this out. We still have a puddle going from last time. You know what? It doesn't all have to be exactly on the page, so why don't we do one that's kind of coming off just for a bit of variety. And then this dip can be over here. I like that. Maybe down here also coming off the page, but without a dip, because let's just pretend that is down here where we can't see. So this is like we're just hovering over the water and taking a screenshot of above. It's not all perfectly organized yet. Helicopter alert. I want to do this one overlapping actually. So how is the rest of this going to go? I'm going to take my hand like this. It would come out around here, which is where we're going to add our little divot. Okay, and then I think one up here too, and just to get the best angle for that, I'm going to turn this like so, and I would like the divot here. It's nice to just be able to make it up. Okay. How fun. So we have a gap here and a gap here, but I think that's nice. I don't want it to be too matchy-matchy. So we're gonna rinse off our brush, and then the center of these guys is yellow, if I remember correctly. So I think what we should do is paint that yellow bit in. So we're gonna activate this really nice golden yellow, which I'm making a little bit green with my, can't do it, gonna go wash out this water, BRB. All right, fresh water. Now let's go back in and do our centers. So activate this clean yellow, very school bus yellow. I never got to really ride a school bus like that. My school buses were blue minivans. Okay, how are we gonna do this? So what I think we'll do is just a really mini, simple version of the outside, kind of like a star. Sure. Same here, and I don't want it to be exactly inside, like one petal mirroring this one, this one, this one, because we're gonna have enough matchy-matchy with the Zentangles being echoey. So I think I just want something a little different. Now this we're going to turn because that is wet, and I would get my sleeve in there for sure. So we're just gonna take this pattern all the way around until we fill it out. Wow, I'm really liking these colors. Thanks for the lily pad suggestion to whoever did that. I've seen it a few times. Okay. And I actually think I might leave the inside of those white, but let's see how we go. I think let's start with Zenangling, the actual lily pads. So let's come closer and do these 3 together. The danger with getting my phone too close is I then can't lift my brush up properly, so this is the distance we'll go for. So we're just going to really carefully trace the inside of our lily pad until the wrist position has expired, which I deem right there. And then we're gonna go, remember this is our first one and it's my first time doing lily pads, so I'm talking out loud as I'm thinking aloud what makes sense, and we might change our mind for the next one. Look at these beautiful dried watermarks. And then this is a little feathery, so I'm just gonna do that. Okay. Now we're gonna connect this up here. So sometimes I like to blend out the lines so we don't get such stark differences in water like here and here. But since this piece is actually on water, I kind of want to lean into that. So we'll just follow, and it's okay that this part has totally dried. And then I'm gonna re-up, and I was holding my brush like this. I'm gonna flip it around, because this is a better way to get up here. Boom. How sweet. And then we're just going to continue doing that until we close out our lily pad. And I think I want to start with this part, trying to keep a consistent white space between all the lines. As far as we can go. And then my brush flat as I had it was too big to go all the way into this corner. So then I'm going to take the little tip of it and draw it in where it would go. Then we're going to do the same thing and pick back up in this corner. Take it along. Very sweet. We now have kind of a fortune cookie shape. This area might close out this section. Let's see. Boom. Boom. And then use the tip to draw where it would fill in. Maybe we can go a little further. It's always better to do just a little and then you can add to it, because you can't really take away with this. Or paint on top. Doesn't really work with watercolor because it's translucent. Unless we were to paint on top with a different medium, but not today. And then again, we'll go into this corner. Okay, fun. So now we're really just gonna draw this kind of very wide, short banana situation with a beak. but really focusing on this, and then we'll use our tip to draw in the beak. Never thought I'd be painting a wide, short banana with a beak, but here we are. Okay, so I'm gonna get pigment over here and then go like this. Go up as far as we can. I feel happy with that. So inside this line is a little too thin to go flat with our brush. So we're going to use the tip and kind of like corner and just draw it in as far as we feel comfortable doing. And then we're gonna get the tip, tip, tip and spread it out. Okay, how sweet. Next we'll do this guy, our half lily pad, or like third. Trying to get a good angle here. I think this is what we'll do. Gonna thicken that ever so slightly, and then I'm just gonna do like a tiny bit, like when the sun is just at the edge of the horizon at sunset. Okay, we're gonna turn and do, this is a great angle to do this one because it's upward strokes and I like those. Try and put my paint in the picture. Okay, that one's, this palette's too big, so that's not happening, but I'll keep that in mind. All right. Starting with the side and paying attention to all these little wobbles. So we kind of have a little bit of an edge going right there, and we reflected that. So we're not trying to draw, I feel like I say this all the time, we're not trying to draw lily pads inside the lily pads. We're no longer trying to draw anything, like that part of the piece is done, she's gone. We're now just like totally zoning out and using what was a lily pad outline, I mean still is, but we've changed her purpose, as a boundary and guide for these lines we're gonna do so that we can find a little peace of mind. Okay, back here, paying attention to the divots. And then here, there's enough space where if I position my brush correctly and get the corner just like that, I won't need to go in and rejudge. Wow, I'm so glad the construction has stopped for this time. This one we can't quite get the same angle, so I'm hoping that construction in general stops soon because it's not my vibe, obviously. I mean, every place has to get built, but just hope it doesn't take too long. It's been a couple weeks, I'd say. Okay, we're closing out. This now looks like a claw, like Mr. Krabs' hand or something. Then we can do our same trick with the point. With every level, the negative spaces on the inside transform become different shapes. And part of the fun of this is looking at those and being like, what is this shape? This is now a smaller claw, I would say. Where's the point of my brush? And that's just like playtime for the brain, or if you've ever been forest bathing, which is one of my favorite activities ever, it's like a on the paper version of that, I guess. Just like seeing what naturally comes up and what we can discover. Okay, now it's really getting little in here, so I'm gonna be careful. I'll go as far as I can while it's flat and then do the same on this side. And then we'll draw in the rest. That was a pretty satisfying one. The rest here, in my opinion, is too small. So we're going to draw it all in. Nice. Now let's just take a little second and look at this one we did earlier. How different this is still wet, but the highly concentrated pigment looks to the really watered area. I think that's so nice. I hope that happens in the actual water. Ooh, oh my God, I have a really good idea for the water. We're gonna ombre it, my favorite thing. I'm gonna leave this until things around it are a little more dried, so let's move around and get this guy done. There we go, that will fit in. This kind of curves around, so we're going to reflect that. We're not trying to correct any shape because remember, we're not trying to do anything in particular, and so if we don't have expectation or like a desired outcome, we can't correct because we don't know what's going to happen. Like following these shapes that we just made might make something super, super pretty that we would have never been able to uncover had we forced what we thought should happen. Oh, awfully close. I'm gonna reposition myself. Connect that. Do you know what's going on? I hate to say it, but it's because I'm leaning on this. I need to move it. Now here, we're gonna start like this time. And then I wanna do this part. I feel like lily pads are a little bit of a brighter green, but I actually think this all the time. I don't have that like natural bright green color in my watercolors. I have a lot of greens, but just not that one. And I could, of course, mix, but I don't want to have to worry about keeping a color consistency with these Zentangles because that's just too much to factor into my Zen time. I mean, maybe one day with one kind of piece, but not at this time. Every time there's a little hair, I don't know where they all come from. I mean, I know where they all come from, but he's not in here right now, so I don't get how that happens. Okay, this is gonna be fun because this is gonna connect. So we're gonna go around like usual. And then trace this side. And they're close enough together that they are actually going to touch. And so we're just gonna have a big filled in space. And then same on this side. Again. And then using the tip to connect those two little bits. Okay. Look at this color connection there. That's really cool. We'll do this one first. So with these, there's always, pretty much always anyway, moving around of the page to get the best angle and to not get our wrist in our hand in the wet paint. It's all just like a big dance. Get up in there. This was our first one, remember? Look at her now. I think I'm gonna go like this. And that will connect. Oh wow, for some reason this shape I really like. It's kind of like a banana too, but not like the other one. I don't know how to explain that. Here we're gonna use the tip because these are so close together they'd touch anyway if we were to trace both lines, so we'll just beat it to the chase. Is that the phrase? Cut to the chase. That's not a very Zentangle activity, cutting to the chase, but I guess making our lives easier. Okay, we're gonna fill in this. This is a more tropical banana, I feel. Now I'm gonna need to use the right corner of my brush, which means turning this. Okay, very sweet. And while we're here, we can actually do this way. So this is gonna be fun because we have, instead of just our curve round, we have a little bit of a divot. So I'm interested to see what that does compared to what we've been doing so far. I hope my hand isn't too in the way. I feel like it might be. But we'll trace round to there. And then we'll follow this dip. And come back around to the edge of the page. We've done a couple where we use the edge of the page to interact with the rest of the piece, if you remember, like the clouds one. But I don't want to do that today. But we should do that again soon. I haven't in a little bit of time. Just to give some options. So we're following that, what would be point, but is actually a bit of a, it kind of looks like a dove, like its tiny little head and beak. Follow that round. Because we're paying maximum attention to the shapes that we've made ourselves. Okay, very sweet. Maybe. I'm trying to think how to not have my hand in it, but it's a little tricky. I'll try like this. I have these scratches on my hand because my little kittens were scrambling for food this morning or yesterday. And I usually hold the bottle in that hand, so they were like, where is it? This is going to be a fun, smooth line to do down. Boop. And then we can take that round as well. That's a bit feathery for my liking. Okay. Cool, so this kind of, what does that look like? For some reason this looks like a polar bear head to me, bending down. I'm not sure what this part is, but that's just what I see right away if you're curious. And then this is gonna be a connection one too. That's cool. We have these really different two shapes now because we had them broken down by the ripple of that lily pad. I didn't have coffee today, but I did have a Earl Grey cup of tea. I also made my friend Mel, the one I made the baby book for, makes these really good oat banana pancakes, and I made some this morning, but I added chocolate milk instead of regular milk because it's all I had. I need to go to the store tomorrow. And, oh wait, look, I love this differentiation in color. And then I also put chocolate chips in, and I put chocolate protein powder because I did a workout this morning, and they were extremely good, but quite sweet, as you can imagine. Okay, let's take things up a little bit, give us some perspective on how things are looking. And finish our last lily pad. How's that? That's pretty dry. Nice sharp point on this one. I like that. And then maybe we'll just meet it here. Come round. My wrist isn't going to last all the way around, but we'll go as far as we can. And then we'll actually come from the top. I wonder if this part where those two met, because we kind of did something similar here, is also going to ripple down like the shapes ripple down. Sometimes that happens because, like here, I guess my wrist was always in the same spot where I had to change it to the point where they always met in the same place, and I just feel like that kind of tells the story of how the piece was made, so I think that's cool. Oops, a little lack of control there. So we had one bristle that couldn't resist the line above and had to go give it a kiss. So you know what, we'll just give them their moment. Been there. Okay, I really love this sharp, shallow, or not shallow, but like acute angle points, boom, boom, boom. Now we have this inside to work with, which is going to be probably a lot of drawing lines. So let's get started here. And this side, I'm not too sure. Let's just see what happens. Let's do one, and then we can get a better gauge. I think we're gonna have a little bit of a gap in the middle. Maybe a bit of a banana situation again. Who would have thought we'd get bananas from lily pads? I feel like if someone was to join midway through one of these videos and had never seen this before, they'd be like, what are you guys doing? If you don't know, don't worry. Okay, very cute. So let's zoom out and see how it's all looking. I think, oh, we missed one. That's okay. We'll fill it in now. The edge is always a little hard for me because I don't have somewhere to rest my wrist. So you'll see I put my little pinky here to stabilize myself as best I could, but it is a touch shaky. So I'm gonna go ahead and unfeather that. I get the smoothest lines when I have the most stability. Then round this curve. Oops, I would like to crisp that there. And then see how I like to sometimes pick up the page and just put it over an edge I'm gonna go on so it doesn't go to the page below when I remember. No, we didn't do that on this side. Oh dear, so I'm gonna leave that like that for now and we'll come back to it. Boop. And then I'm gonna finish all of this side. I'm actually just gonna lift it up, to be honest. So then we can move the page over this side so I can complete that in the way that I was just describing. I like this sandwich of dark, light, dark. Unintentional cuteness. Okay, lovely. Now I'm gonna go clean out my paint water. So I thought about filling in the flowers. However, I kind of might like them white. I'm not really sure, but because I'm not really sure, we're going to go in with the water right now instead. So what I was thinking in terms of the ombre is below each shape, I want there to be a shadow. So I'm gonna do the first layer of the blue darker than what the rest of it is gonna be. And of course the shadow would be cast kind of to a side and so it wouldn't go all the way around. Blah, 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 blah. Not happening today. So I really like this blue here. Oops, can you see that? This blue here. And I want it to be similar, but not the exact same. So I have this scrap paper here I was working on. Just getting rid of some paint. So let's swatch these quickly for ourselves because I don't think I have this swatched, and just see how these look. Rattly, that might be annoying. Okay, definitely looks darker in the palette. Cute. And then this one, well, may as well while we're here, but I don't think I'm gonna use that. Although these do look nice with this abstract I was making. Okay, and then we'll do this guy. That's nice. Our ultramarine, one of my faves. And then we also have this pretty periwinkly blue. And then I have a million bajillion other blues as well. But let's not give ourselves too much choice except for this. Clearly I use this one a lot. Ooh, pretty. And then this light blue, which I just adore. Okay, looking at all of these, I think this one is for sure gonna be our best bet for the right beneath shadow. So why don't we do that first, see how it looks, and then we can decide about the rest. I like to not plan too hard in advance, as you know, because you never know what can happen. So this is effectively a little, why do I have a hard time speaking today? Maybe I had too much chocolate. Naughty. Well, that thought's lost. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna activate this paint and do our first, oh, that was it, doing our first outside Zenangle layer. So let's start here. Wow, I just love this color. So that's definitely going to be a drawing in situation. So I'm going to do the rest first. Because then it kind of shrinks how much guesswork we'll need to do on that. Guessing takes a little too much brain power for my liking right now. I'm working on another piece in my I Spy body of work that is so much planning and strategy to like get it right, the shapes and the colors and blah, blah, blah. I was working on it right into the wee hours last night. I'm just really trying to get it done because I'm so excited to see how it's gonna look. That this is a really nice difference for me in the way I use my brain. So really just letting go to what will be. Cute. I feel like that needs to be a little thicker to match up, don't you? Okay. Then we'll go in here with our tip. Kind of do the outline of where that would be, the outline of where that would be. Reflect this kind of flat tip, and then we can go ahead and thicken however much they should be. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Do this, or actually, let's do this while we're here. That's a touch wet. We're gonna do this one instead. Take it as far around as we can. This was a pretty good angle. The only problem is that the paint's gonna run out. But variety. So the shadow of this one is going to connect with the shadow of that one, which means this one being the lily pad and that one being the flower, which means this guy is going to get a second layer of this same dark blue. So this is when we do multiple colors, what can happen, which is why I don't do them too much, because I really just like the simplicity of just the lines as opposed to color. Also, because we get enough color play in the watercolor itself because there's such varying opacities with how much water you use and whatever. But it's fun to just have a look, so we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna first do everything that would just be a single layer of outline of this color, and then we'll cross bridges like that. Which is a nice analogy because we're actually in a pond right now. Okay, I'm gonna hold this down. And then go as far as we can. Cute. This feels a safer angle to do this guy because I'm resting here, which is totally dry and looking very matte and opaque. I like that. I'm really interested to see how these like multiple layers of petals come out. It's kind of maybe gonna look like a big star or a much bigger flower, but some definitely have bigger angles than others. And so they're not gonna be symmetrical, not that these are, but I think it's just gonna be fun to see. Now here's that little bit that we talked about, so we'll go like this. This can go a little further, can't it? So if you want a piece to take you longer, you should use a thinner brush, and then if you want it to take you shorter, you should use a thick brush, because more or less surface area gets taken up, if you didn't know. That one's definitely more rounded compared to something like this. Wow, I really like how that looks. That's so cute. Now, so in this gap here, only one is going to prevail of this flower and this lily pad. So the decision is, which one do we want to have 2 layers of the blue? I'm not really sure, but I do know I like how this looked and I feel a craving to do it again. So I think we're gonna do this one and then we'll worry about the lily pad later. Ooh, but this would be a really nice smooth. Okay, I've actually changed my mind. We're doing this one because this is going to be one of the biggest lines in the whole piece, straight lines that is. And look, we're coming to around the same part there. Must have started in the same place. Pick up. And then while we have this good angle, we will go in this lily pad. And then back around. Again, we're at a corner, so it's not as stable as I would like, but we're gonna work with it. Cool. Now let's leave this one because similar to this one, TBD on how the lines are gonna go. We'll definitely get a cute little triangle in there, but in the meantime, we'll do this lily pad Again, a bit of a connection at the point. Take it all the way around. Now I'd like to start from here. I wish I could explain better why some angles are better than others, but I don't know how to do that. And what's better for example, this line is crap for like that line. So better is subjective and situational, of course. Which is true in life. Like some things could be better for someone else, or vice versa than you, and that's okay. I guess it just means one thing isn't overused, hopefully. Okay, now we have just enough space to go through right here, so let's do that first. Well, hopefully we do. Let's see. I'm gonna be kind of light on my pressure. We did it. We're just gonna clean it up. And then I'm gonna turn this and get right here. Got a little excited there. Okay, and then this might be a full blue situation, yeah. Pretty. Now we have these two as our last exposed ones. I'm excited to go around this again because that was fun. I think I'm gonna do this first so then it's out the way to work on this. And we're just gonna go 1/2 like this. And then connect, and that's kind of given rainbow, sort of. So where I start here is just totally random depending on what feels most comfortable. And we're gonna follow this way around until it's not good anymore. The position, and then we'll turn the page. Oh no, that sounds like the musings of construction. Hopefully it holds out a little longer. Turn time. Really like how all these colors are playing together. This blue makes me want to go to Greece. I don't have any plans to go to Greece, but I am going to Mallorca soon. That'll be nice. Okay, so let's take a little second to look at our whole piece. At the moment, cool. I think I'm just gonna go around these and swallow up whatever happens and then see what we should do. I'm also was kind of thinking in the back of my head as I was doing that, it might be fun to do 3 levels of blue. So like this, then this, then this. Eek. What was that though? Oh, I remember. It was this one. So we'll make our way back to this guy. Still not sure about the inside of the flowers. I'm kind of thinking like this one's quite a big area. Maybe I leave the yellow and I fill in the pink. TBD. That was my stomach. How I'm still hungry after my triple chocolate pancakes? No idea. Turn time. Huh, what do we do about that? I think it's gonna have to go up there and then back out. I think so. Okay, so this we can complete in the meantime. Yeah, I think that's just too tight to go through. It would be forcing it. So we'll go like this and then back out. We can crisp that though. And make our way around. So I know that's gonna come out like that. So I'm gonna do that first so our edge is secured. Then we can go on into the center and work on that. And then we'll turn things around. Actually, let's focus on this bit. So we'll do what would be this side, making it a way around. And then we'll do what would be here. I know they could touch, but it'd be too thin. I couldn't do it. Like, not physically. I think I could do it physically, but emotionally can't do it. Fun. And then we'll go do the same on this guy down here. So, I think actually starting with this bit, go around, twist. Then this part I would like to draw as opposed to do the stroke. And then we'll make our way around this nice little flower until we get back to the lily pad. I really get satisfied when I could fit the corner of the brush into the corner of the shape we're making and then not have to crisp it up, but just have the best angle. I like that a lot. That one went right over my building. Okay, so down to here, too thin, so we're gonna go around. And then while we're here, actually, we can fill in our first negative space triangle of the piece. Cool, now it's gonna probably go off the page actually. So I'm gonna keep that in mind and hold the page and do that bit. And then we will connect. And then we can complete it with this. This one is a nice kind of pointy shark finny inside. I like that. Oh, I also really like sharks. I didn't put them on my 8 favorite animals piece because I had forgotten about them. And they also, I don't think they'd be top 8. They're top 10 though. Maybe that's number 9. Okay, let's have a look. I really like this, and I actually, as these colors go, I really like white in addition to the pink, yellow, green, and blue. So at this stage, I'm leaning toward keeping the flowers. Still not 100%. Let's bring up our swatch sheet. And I think we'll do this one next, which was here. So where shall we start? Let's start with this corner. Well, let's just start with the entire shape we just did. I kind of like to do that because I just practiced it effectively. I feel like effectively is my word of the day. I don't know why. Am I even using that right? All right. Again, we have edge, so we're going to be extra careful. And I'm not going to close out the corner because I'm not sure how many layers of this we're doing. Oh, we're really going to start connecting. This one can pass through. Well, we started it, so that's what we're doing. Just trying to decide what to do first. Okay, let's start here. Oh, I almost always memory dip into what I had just done. So let's replace this palette with what had been there. This is a good example of one where the tray looks much darker than the actual pigment is. I have a little bit of fuzz right there. Now, I haven't forgotten about this part. We're gonna have to draw to get in there. And then we're gonna spin. I'm going to do the other sides to this connection first, just so we've put our boundaries on both sides, because that makes it seem more manageable to me. Then this is going to be a little corner. Cute. And then we'll finish this shape once we get the hair out of the brush. Is that, what even is it? It's like, oh, maybe it's from my sweater. It's like a little fiber. Oh, there's another one. Okay, now what we can do here is for sure just fill in that little bit, because this would be this color because it's second to this silly pad. Oops, some kissing. I'm gonna clean the brush, just do my best to swipe it away. Then we're gonna let that dry while we handle the rest. Again, I wanna go for anything that is for sure not touching anything else first. So like this. I'm really excited to see, as I said before, how these flower outlines start to transform. Oh, the birds are all talking. Wonder what they're talking about. Maybe they see Ryan in the window. Ryan wishes all the birds were talking about him. They're definitely not. This is over the split of the paper, which is kind of my, wow, it's really hard to see this split. Oh, it's about here, which is really my kind of like caring level about what happens the other side of it. Okay. Or caring threshold, I should say. Ooh. I had a little too much water on the brush there. But we're just gonna keep using it until it runs out, because now it's a good level. Wow, that took us all the way around. Nice. See how it really goes from darker to light? Cool. Okay, now this bit should be a little more dry, so I'm gonna get a really heavily pigmented, not watery brush load. And, oh, well, was still wet, whatever. Little kiss at the bottom. Okay. Now, this cluster and this one here on the corner are gonna be ones where it doesn't touch any others, and we can do a full line round. So let's work on those. And we'll decide what the game plan is for the rest. I want to come up here. And then come down from here, or up from here, I guess, for where these connect. Probably could fit, but I want to be extra cautious. Okay. And then I think that could use a cleanup right there, couldn't it? Okay. And then this guy will be a nice single stroke until the divot. So hopefully we get a cool ombre of darker to lighter. I might have had enough on the brush that it won't too much, but okay. So now if we have a little look at everything, let's see what we got. So if we are to do the second layer, or the second blue layer here, it's gonna go like this, and then make this a negative space. Then we'd go from here, get all these done. That would be one line. And then if we were to do here, we'd have a lot going on. I reckon, I reckon we do this center bit first, because that'll dictate what spreads out either side of it. So this is gonna be a journey, let's go. Not really sure where it'll take us. It's a little wet over there, so let's go this way. That is definitely a drawing stitch. Nice city noises going on. Make our way around. It's probably gonna have to, oh no, it might not have to come back actually. I was gonna say it's gonna touch itself there, but I don't think it is. That's a funny little connection there. So I think this line that we're doing is going to be our first line that is all the way across the page and divides it into top and bottom, because we're probably going to end down here. So it's just something to note. Gonna go here first, as far as we can, and then we'll connect up here. Oops, this was wet and I got my little hand in it, but we can just fill it in. I also want to fill in our second, whoopsie, little triangle of the page. But we're gonna turn things because it's a little more dry if we come at it from this angle. Extremely cute. So now we have our first level of double lighter blue. And this we're actually going to play to both sides, which means covering the point, but then also flattening out when we hit that there. There's another little triangle area. And now we're going to come from the bottom actually. Another fiber in my brush. And finish this line. So because this now has 3 sides where there's, it's interesting, 2 that are double light blue, we're going to reflect that on this ripple here. Make it aligned. Okay, so now we have a bunch of new negative spaces for ourselves to play with. We have this, 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 which is one kind of, and this. So I reckon we fill in this and then we go do the outside bits. So while we're here, let's do this one. Starting with the mini triangle. Oh wait. We haven't finished all the light blue lines. Never mind. We are going to do that here. So this is obviously going to be the same thing, and so we're going to start it there, and it's going to be light blue because we haven't done the light blue on this one yet. Hopefully you follow my math. You could make up your own rules for it. Like it could be if it already has 2 layers, you switch the color. Loads of little like games and strategies to play with yourself, and this is mine today. Because I want them to at least every area have 1 dark blue and 1 lighter blue. And then how many specifically there are depends on just the organic nature of what happened, what the order was, all that. So this we can draw in a little bit. this line round, and so this is going to divide this bit into the top third. We have this middle section and then the bottom, which quickly is going to change. Once I finish this area, if the construction hasn't stopped, I'm going to pause this and we will come back when it has, because I can imagine that's kind of annoying. Oh, and we have a leaf blower. We're going to finish this section and then we'll take a little break. Okay, I will be back once all the outside noise quiets down. It should be safe now. So, working back on this part, we have this dark blue and this dark blue exposed, and completing them is going to do another layer in these two negative spaces, just to show you what's going to happen. So let's do that. If you think you can hear some little kittens meowing, you can. It's their dinner time in about 30 minutes, so they can sense it. That was a satisfying one. Okay, very sweet. That's very angular, abstract, what's it called, where there's the sand on top and then it goes down and it takes a minute and it's a timer, sand timer, I don't know. This little triangle. And then we have this bit up here. I really like how dark that blue is, especially in contrast to this lighter blue. Very pretty. Now for this, I think we're gonna go in, around, and then back out, making a filled in shape. Here we can get a little corner action. Whoopsie, whoopsie, whoopsie. So we're just gonna keep taking this line all the way until we do an inline on this interesting negative space. And because it's pretty narrow, I think they're gonna touch. Yeah, look at that, they'll touch for sure. Which means there will be lots of kind of smaller negative shapes to tackle in this section after this. And I do think I want to do a lighter blue. I think that'll be really cool. Now, I don't really see this going through here. Maybe a touch, but then popping back out again. And this will be interesting. No, it's okay they touch because they're the same spiral line. Okay, so now look at these little boop, boop, boop. Oh, I was gonna color that in, but that actually could be either light blue or this blue. I think this blue because it's close to that. Wait, yeah. Wow, this one has 3. Interesting how that happens. Okay, now everything has a light blue line except for this, this, and this. But if we go around this, follow the line, it's going to hit that. So we just need one line to complete all that. So let's go. So we'll make our way into here like a little cave, echoing and back out. And then I want to actually start this from down here. Oh, close call. I'm gonna go from here so I can do that little in-between bit with a different angle that I'm holding and just get this one sorted. Okay. I'm gonna go from down here. Okay, so now everything has a light blue line, and now we're gonna make an even lighter blue line. Looking at our chart, we did this, and then I think this one might make the most sense, which was that. Or this. I kind of think this, just because these are all such different tones, so it would be aligned. Oh, what am I doing? I need this. Let's move this. So where shall we start? Let's start in this little bottom corner, kind of work our way around. So we'll activate this paint set. It's so aesthetically pleasing. So this paint is much more opaque, so we might not get the same differences in opacity, I guess, to be redundant. Just because of the shade it is. It has a lot of white in it, so it's kind of creamier. Cool. But I guess what that reflects is like the lack of shadow. I'm kind of making this up as I go, but it's fun to assign a meaning. It doesn't have to be super legit, but I like how things kind of turn out as they're meant to be. A lesson to trust, and the shadows under the objects would have a different energy too. Just the still water, so that's what's happening there. Okay, now we're gonna twist and let's go in here, or actually let's go up here and then we can work down. Let's go closer. So this is going to be 2 sections and probably just 1 line of each. Yeah, so we did what we could with our flat brush, and then, oops, I wasn't fully dry and I rested my little hand. Now this is tricky when it's a little quite wet and raised, because the brush can easily graze the side and mess it up, but luckily that didn't happen. Okay, I'm going to start with the biggest one, which I like to do in small spaces, and then fill in the rest. Okay, and then with this one, we close this out into 3 little shapes. I'm going to take some from here and do just a tiny bit in that corner. This one looks like a long diamond, kind of. Like Diamond the Gem. Cute. Can you think of any other types of pieces we could do like this? I love how the idea of the shadow is at the bottom, or like things are floating on a surface so that we have the different color around. And all I can think of is cereal or soup with like cereal pieces or croutons floating. But if you have any other ideas, let me know and maybe we could make it. So for these, I'm just gonna do these little dips. Okay. Now let's come down here. And this will close out our top portion of the piece. Just want to clean this up a little bit. And we'll make our way around our flower. Here with this one, we're dividing the page into that side and this side. So this is the last line. That will be both. Hello, Ryan. And then while we're here, we'll just do this little triangle because it is irresistible. Okay. So with little areas like that up there, it's just about using your judgment and like being consistent with the rest of the piece as to if we fill it in or not. I think it's a little too small for my liking. This bit, yeah, also too small. So we'll bring this around. And then I will point it though, like that. And then let's fill in this section before we move down there. It's two sections really, because this line isn't going to go all the way through. Wow, this might be one of my favorite ones. Oh, Brian's gonna, hello. Can you sit over there, please? Okay. Whoa, Ryan, I'm painting. Okay, he's sitting on my lap. Better stay. Oh, he's moving, Ryan. All right, he is out of here. Well, he's right by me, but he can't be here when I'm painting. Okay. Oh, Ryan. Oh my God. So now we have this nice corner with a very fun little swoop that's gonna be best to do like this, I reckon. Okay, so let's actually start with that. Then we can just go ahead and do this triangle and this one. baby one. And then finish. Okay, so now we just have this curvy bit. So these two are actually divided because of the page tear off bit, but I'll connect them for satisfaction purposes, which are very valid. So once we get to the corners of the page, we often uncover oily marks like this, and that is fingerprints. As the corners are where we touch the pages to turn them, and even if we wash our hands really well, they still have oils on them. Okay, that part's done. Now we just have these two sections. So let's do this one first. Then we'll finish out at the bottom with the edge of our flower. And is this dry? Yeah. Okay, then we've hit boundary of the flower. This one has a really satisfying dark to medium to light blue. Interesting that before we got the light blue, we were calling the medium blue the light blue. By we, yes, I mean me. Just shows how perspective changes. Now this I want to approach from this side. Right down the middle. And then this we can turn a bit. Oops, had my hand in front of my eyes there. So I was guessing. Okay, so we have this little triangle to do. And that one, but actually let's fill in this first because my hand's gonna go, yep, right there. And this won't be too long because however big it is, it's actually double as small as adding a line because we're adding a line on both sides. Oh, hi Ryan. Ryan. Pets. Okay. Kind of made an R right there. The problem with getting hair in the tip of the brush is it can then drag the paint to places that we didn't necessarily want it to go. So it's like a tidiness thing. And that tip of the R we can totally fill in a little bit. Lovely. Now this I just have to do. Okay. This is cool. This is like a pillow with one side that's a bit crunchy. Did I just do that now? I just touched something again. Oh well. That was hand. But it's cool, 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 cool. We're just gonna keep it pushing. And then we'll get this corner bit, bring that down. And what about that tiny, that can have one. There we go. That can come down as well. So yes, I have noticed that fuzz right here. Sometimes they can be hard to get. I don't know why. I need to take all the paint off my brush, all the water. Haha, got it. Okay, that's a little clothes fiber. Now I'm obsessed with these things. Don't love that for me. And then we can get down in there. Okay, this might be the last one. I think it is, plus some little triangle fill-ins, I assume. Well, I don't know actually. I think maybe this bit here and then this bit here can also have something. And now our last little bit, let's try and get as close as we can. I'm holding the edge of my page with my pinky because it makes me feel more stable somehow with this edge of the page that can be kind of unpredictable. That's in the way. Okay, here we have a triangle. And then we have two final little shapes. Oops, somebody touched the page here with their fingers. 100% me. Okay, let's see how things are looking. Come on. Oh my gosh, wow, I love it. I guess it's technically this way up. How are we feeling about the flowers? I'm feeling like leaving them, to be honest. I don't know why, I kind of just like the contrast. How fun. I'm gonna try this again with another type of image on TikTok, so with cuts, and see what people think of that. But I think this could be a new kind of little series. What you think? All right, well, thanks for joining me. As per, here's the paints we used, if I can get everyone to cooperate. See you next time.